Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another Diablo 3 video. Season 28 PTR has gone live. We've played for a few hours, blasted ourselves up to about 500 Paragon, but I thought we'd take a little break from the season theme, which we are enjoying. Full details on that will be coming later. And just look today at what are the starter sets for each of the classes and what are the conquests. Now we know we're going to get the demonic wings if once we unlock our full Alter of Rites for Season 28. There probably will be some other stuff like a pet maybe as well. We'll have to see for doing the season journey, but we're going to go through the starter sets, through the conquests. As always guys, a thumbs up brightens my day, and if you are interested in Season 28, do subscribe. We're going to do the full array of content, starter guides, build guides, and then track our progress through the season. Start off with the conquests. We have got, on a good day, level 3 legendary gems, 265. This is completely pimpsy squimpsy, absolute freebie nowadays because it's just so easy to get up to, you know, past tier 120, so absolute no-brainer there. We'll definitely do that one. Next we've got Need for Speed, which is complete a Nephilim Rift at max level, so just 70 on Torment 10 or higher within 2 minutes. Pretty easy, obviously you don't have to do it on hardcore mode. Speed Demon is the non. I wonder why these are normally in like core and hardcore the other way around. But anywho, Speed Demon, Nephilim Rift, Torment 10, 2 minutes, again an absolute doddle now. Boss mode is an easy one. It can be a little finicky. You just need to make sure that you've got a fast build, and every class can easily do this. Kill all the bosses in the list in under 20 minutes. Torment 10. Just start a timer, go and do it. It's pretty straightforward. So again, another really good conquest. That's 3 we can easily bust out. Curses is an easy one to do with the right build, so kill 350 or more monsters in Cursed Chest event at level 70 on Torment 10 or higher. It is difficult to get the correct chest to spawn, which is the Curse Bounty, the Pete's Curse Bounty in one of the acts, I forget which one. I always skip this one, I just think it's pants. If somebody in my clan or in the global chat happens to say, look, we've got curses going, I'll jump in. But it's not one I specifically look for because I just think it's a waste of time resetting your game and looking for it. But it is doable, very doable if you get the right thing to spawn. And then last we've got Years of War, Reach 55 solo with the full bonuses of 6 class sets. If you're only going to play one class, this becomes a little bit of a problem because you obviously can't do it. You need to play multiple classes. But if, like me, you're going to set up a Z-Barb, a ZDH, you're probably going to play Bone Spear Necro, probably play the new DH build on Natalia's. It's a pretty easy one. Level 55 solo, again, is an absolute cakewalk. So the conquest's really easy this season, which is really nice to see. Starting sets-wise, they're all good. I like all of them. Gears of Dreadlands is a phenomenal starting set for the Demon Hunter. The 2-piece, you gain 4 seconds of momentum when you attack with a primary skill. Max duration 20 seconds. Primary skills deal 10% increased damage per second of momentum. So 200% increased damage and 4 momentum stacks. 4-piece is really nice. Strafing against enemies will automatically shoot your last used primary skill. So you get a lot of damage from that. You get 60% damage reduction while strafing and for 5 seconds after, so actually quite nice to get some damage reduction on a 4-piece. And then while strafing, you get 8% move speed for each one of those momentum stacks that we just talked about, so you can get yourself quite a lot of move speed out of this 4-piece, so it is pretty nice, a very fast set. And the 6-piece, primary skills deal 15,000% increased damage. So I really like this to start off with because you get damage on the 2-piece, which is nice, just makes the rest of that season journey go smoother. The 4-piece damage reduction and a bunch of move speed, really handy early on to get move speed. Maybe lessens the need to get the uncapped Paragon node out of the Alter of Rites. But again, we will talk about that in future videos because that's actually a really powerful node. Because it doesn't quite do what I thought it did. And then a huge big damage on the 6-piece. Pretty easy to get the supporting items for this as well. It's not too hard. So really, you're going to have a strong reason not to start Demon Hunter if you're looking to make a fast start. Plus, we know we've got the new Natalia's build, which We don't know what state it's going to go to live in, but it's probably going to be pretty powerful. Next up, we've got the Horde of the 90 Savages for Barb. This has been double buffed in this patch. So the 2-piece, double the effectiveness of shouts, and you deal double damage to feared, frozen or stunned enemies. Again, fairly decent for 2-piece. You're getting a little bit of damage on here. The effectiveness of shouts is a nice thing to get. If you're going to make a support Barb, it's quite straightforward to get a couple of Savage pieces early on, which is pretty nice as well. On the 4-piece, each Frenzy stack reduces damage taken by 6%, and Frenzy lasts twice as long. So pretty much just a bit of damage reduction on the 4-piece. A little bit of utility with Frenzy lasting longer, and a little bit of extra damage because you can keep your Frenzy stacks high, but not the best 4-piece in the world. 6-piece Frenzy deals 2000% increased damage per stack. Not the best Barb build for speed farming, albeit it can be somewhat effective. It's much more of a push build in my opinion, and you can use it to do a bit of RGK very early on. Personally speaking, I'd probably rather have Might of the Earth or Wrath of the Wastes to start off with, because AoE clearing on those two sets is just much easier. So getting up your early speed content is just going to be much easier on those. But the thing with Frenzy is it's fairly easy to set up, and it is quite powerful. And with that 2000% on the 6-piece, which has been doubled from the last patch, it is still a pretty strong start. It's not a bad set, but you compare it to the Gears of Dreadlands, I think it's going to be much slower. Then we move on to the Typhon's Vale. Again, this has also been buffed for this patch. So 2-piece, double the duration of Hydras, increase the number of heads on multi-headed Hydras by 2, so just more Hydra damage. So again, nice bit of damage on the 2-piece there. 4-piece, damage taken is reduced by 8% for each Hydra head alive. This is really tanky. This is a huge amount of damage reduction. So if you pick this setup, you're going to be absolutely laughing for toughness. Each time you take damage, a head does die, but you just simply respawn them, and a head cannot die more than once every 2 seconds. Really tanky 4-piece bonus there. On the 6-piece, Hydra deals 4000% increased damage for each Hydra head alive. Again, not a particularly difficult build to set up Hydra. There are lots of supporting items, but most of them are okay to get. There's nothing absolutely horrendous with it. So it would be a strong start. I would prefer Talrash's for Wizard. I think that just is an absolutely completely brain dead easy start. But this, to get you up to Talrash's, is going to be pretty good. Whether this is faster than Talrash for T16, I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to do a little bit of testing. But you could certainly play this T16, you could play this Speed Drifts, you could play this for pushing. So it is another really strong option for the Wizard there. Next up, we've got Mundunugu's Regalia. Probably falling off a little bit, I think, compared to other sets. Witch Doctor's had no love and no buffs this patch, but it is still probably the best speed farm set, I think, for all round just everything. 2-piece Big Bad Voodoo now follows you and lasts twice as long. Not particularly useful, but it obviously doesn't harm. 4-piece 60% damage reduction for 30 seconds when you enter the Spirit Realm. Nice bit of damage reduction on the 4-piece, nothing much more to say. And then 6-piece Spirit Barrage deals 20,000% increased damage, plus an additional percent equal to 5 times your mana regeneration per second. Quite easy to set up Mundunugus because there aren't a bunch of supporting items, so reasonably fast start. You know you're going to level a Witch Doctor quite quickly with all the Masker bonus stuff, and the Alter of Rites is going to really help for that, increasing those kill streaks and doubling the amount of XP you get from them. So a solid shout, but again, I just prefer the Gears of Dreadlands, honestly. Next up, we've got Patterns of Justice for the Monk, and then again, another really solid option and something that has been buffed this patch. The 2-piece Sweeping Wind gains the effect of every rune. Move speed is increased for 5% for each stack of Sweeping Wind. It's really nice move speed and a little bit of utility on the 2-piece, always handy to get. 4-piece, attacking with Tempest Rush reduces your damage taken by 50% and increases spirit regen by 50. So we're starting to set up Tempest Rush on the 4-piece. Not great, we're not getting like massive amounts of damage, but the spirit regen will allow us to do more damage because we have more resource. The 6-piece, when we hit with Tempest Rush whilst Sweeping Wind is active, we increase the size of Sweeping Wind and also increase all damage by 20,000%. This is up from 15,000% on the last patch. So in general, I really like Patterns of Justice. It's a quite straightforward and very powerful build even before the buff, so it is a really solid one. The only downside is that Monk has to get fist weapons, and fist weapons are probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest item class, certainly weapon wise, to roll in the game, because there's just so bloody many of them. So it is a bit fiddly. You only need one though, and your other offhand weapon is open, so I guess that does go for it. But it is strong once you do get it set up. It's really easy. It's great for T16s, bounties, speed drifts, and going to be pretty good for pushing, I think, even just with that little bump up from 15 to 20,000%. Another really solid option there. And then for the Crusader, we've got Aegis of Valor. It is my favourite Crusader set. It hasn't been buffed, so it is in exactly the same situation as it is now off season and in season 27 without sanctified powers. 2-piece attacking with Fist of Heavens empowers you, allowing Heaven's Fury to deal 125% increased damage for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So again, anytime we get damage on a 2-piece, that's generally a good thing in this game. 4-piece, hitting with Fist of Heavens returns 5 Wrath, great for your resource management, reduces your damage taken by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to a total of 50% damage reduction. And then 6-piece, we come in with the big damage, increase the damage of Fist of Heavens and Heaven's Fury both by 20%. Obviously you use Fist of Heavens as your main farming build for Crusader. Once you get this juiced up, it will screen wipe, the electricity flies everywhere. It's a lot of fun to play, and it is, as I say, my favourite Crusader set. Probably, I'm not quite sure whether it's as powerful as a Khan or which way round those two go. They are kind of close, but still, as a push option, it's excellent for Crusader. But there's nothing new for Crusader, so really, unless you're an absolute dedicated, die-hard Crusader, probably you want to pick something else to start off with. Then we come to the Necro. Necro gets the Masquerade of Burning Carnival, which is the Bone Spear set. Again, this has been a mega buffed this patch. So the 2-piece, Simulacrums no longer take damage, they gain all the runes, and its cooldown is refreshed when you die. Kind of handy. Simulacrum's got some really nice uses, you know, extra essence, extra damage, that kind of thing. So a decent 2-piece. 4-piece, whilst we do have a Simulacrum, damage is reduced by 50%. Damage you take is split with your Simulacrum as well, so you do end up being fairly tanky. 6-piece Bone Spear cast by you and your Simulacrum deal 9,000% increased damage. Simulacrums gain triple this bonus. This is pretty big damage. It's pretty much putting Bone Spear back where it was several patch cycles ago, and it was pretty powerful. The only thing really though is to get that triple bonus, you have to have your Simulacrums active. To have them perma up, you need a specific amulet, the Haunted Visions, and that can be a pain in the arse to get, because amulets are not the most abundant thing in the game. They're expensive to craft, expensive to upgrade, expensive to roll for blood shards. So once you get that, this set flies, but until then it is a little frustrating. And you might actually find, as crazy as this sounds, it might be easier for you to put together 6 pieces of the Tragul Blood Nova Necromancer than it is to find the one singular amulet that makes this set come together. So if you get good RNG, this can be an absolute blast and an awful lot of fun, and if you get crappy RNG, it can be a very frustrating start. You do still get the 9,000 damage on Bone Spear, but really it's the Simulacrums with the triple bonus that really makes this hit quite hard. So not a bad option. It's really solid once you get it going. You just have to put up with the frustration of finding that amulet. So haven't really played the PTR too much, as I said at the start of the video, but really it's looking like a DH start, probably simply because you can play a ZDH, you know you get a really solid, can crush T16 and bounties and speed drifts early build, plus you get to play the new Natalia's pretty soon. Marauders is a great option for Demon Hunter as well, so it, you know, that is looking pretty nice. But also Necro, you know, always have a soft spot for Necro, really easy to level, so you know, maybe that would be another choice to consider. Masquerade. Wizard, I think, also strong on Typhon, plus you've got the Talrasha, which you can get geared up fairly easy as well, so again, another good option there. Barb, I'd probably be leaving unless my group needs a Z-Barb and I end up getting that role, but I would be sweating it a little bit on making sure I had a better build than Savage set up at the end of day 1. Witch Doctor, I'd probably just avoid because whilst this is one of the better Witch Doctor sets, I still just don't think there's any hype around Witch Doctor whatsoever. And then Monk, if you really want to play Monk, go for it. But I probably would do Dreadlands first, pick up a bunch of dexterity gear, and then later on run around and do a Monk once I've got enough mats to make sure I've definitely got my fist weapon. And then Seder, I mean, I'm not sure I'll play Seder next season at all. Again, just nothing's changed. It's a little bit stale, but if you do want to play it, you can pick up a really nice set. So that is the video. All the options are really strong. There is no bad choices here. We're spoiled for choice. Season 28 is just going to be fantastic. Season themes looking really good. Lovely, easy conquests and a good range of options to choose from. So let me know in the comments which class are you going to start with. I reckon it's going to be pretty much a DH landslide, because Gears of Dreadland is so easy to set up, so easy to play, and very powerful. But you never know, we might get the odd Necro here or there with the Burning Carnival set. I've been the Filthy Casual. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back again real soon. Take it easy, guys. Peace.